And I'm live, but apparently my camera is not on. Let's see if I can't get it on here. Okay, solo layout. I think I still got the banner going. Oh, what's the situation here, people? Why is this not? I doubt you guys can see me. Am I correct? Come on. How am I? Can you guys see me? I seriously doubt you can, because I'm not seeing me. This stuff. Technical difficulties. Hey, Chris P. Hey, Underworld Dream. You don't see me. Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay. Why is this not working? Ugh. Difficulties. Technical difficulties. Sorry, people. I think I need to have like one of those old images that TV would pop up whenever there's technical difficulties. Add to stream. Okay. Camera, mic. Yeah, all that's working. Why is it not working? Ugh. Yeah, this is going to be a thrilling art stream if you guys can't see what I'm doing. Well, there's share screen. That's not what I want to do. I want to share my camera. Okay, guys, this is going to be thrilling. I'm going to step away for a brief second to go and consult Ishii and ask him how the hell I can get this thing to show the camera. So just 1 second, I will be right back. They can hear me. In fact, they can hear me right now. I'm on live right now. But I can't get it to show the camera. What am I not doing?
Okay, let's see. So, oh. No. Yeah, that is odd. Oh, I know what the problem is. Never mind.
I knew it was something simple. Oh, I have to turn that off?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So, there's the honey.
Yes.
She's a looker, isn't she?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you having fun?
And there's the horse.
Yes.
So, how do you want to mount this?
Where I had it?
Well, I'm going to make this. Can we? Oh, can't do that. Never mind. I was going to say if you could clip it up here.
It doesn't have a clip, so I was just going to have it point down.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't have the other things. So, okay. Well, there's Ishii. He's in his human suit. He had to get suited up today.
Oh, sorry. See, that's... Oh, never mind.
Did you have suggestions? Because I had it all figured out, but do you have suggestions?
There we go.
Well, I was going to move it once I did the thing, because right now I'm blown out.
You look fine.
This is thrilling for our audience. Okay, are you joining us today or on your computer?
Later.
Later? Okay, you let me know when you want a link and I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Okay, welcome back to the show. So let me do this so that I'm not blinded. Okay. And I'm still being blown out, but that's okay because that's not what's important. Now, let me put this back on so you can hear me better now that I have the microphone back on. Wholesome interaction. Thank you. Thank you, Artificer Joni. Well, what Ishii was pointing out was that I have a camera. See? Whee! So it's no longer connected to my laptop. So I can actually see all of your comments now in real time rather than trying to read them on my phone while I do stuff. So, okay, I guess we'll get started. As Ishii showed you, I've got the horse here. I can't mount the camera up higher. Well, maybe I can. Let's try something. We're going to do more fun with technology here. Oh, there you go. You also get a lovely view of my attributes doing it this way. But you can see my tabletop here. Here is my horse. Now, some of you may remember this thing. I got it at the dollar store a couple of weeks ago because it had a rudimentary skeletal structure and has skulls on it. And, you know, what's not to love with a skeleton horse? So, but I thought that it could be pushed even farther. So I've spray painted it black to begin with. But I have discovered something in the Arizona sun. Paint doesn't dry. That's counterintuitive, isn't it? But no, in the Arizona sun, paint doesn't dry. It just melts, and all of the liquid leaves it, leaving you with a tarry substance. So it is dry now, but I don't think you can tell. It's actually gotten kind of tacky in certain areas. So I think I'm going to have to do some repair work and repaint parts of it, but that's okay. It leads to more of the, spookiness of the skeletal horse. But what I'm doing today is I'm going to paint this with a more realistic skeletal structure. And I can even show you screenshots of the horses that I'm going to be basing it off of. Actually, yeah, why don't I go ahead and do that? So where is it? Screen share. Chrome tab. There we go. See, I love this. There are equestrians out there that paint their horses to look like full skeletons. In fact, some of them, like this one, is an actual anatomy lesson. They painted the horse with numbers on it to show you the full anatomy of the horse. And I absolutely love that. So I'm going to be using these horses as my models for what I am painting today. So isn't that cool? So let me stop the screen share. Yes, stop. There we go. And off we go. So let's see what's going on in the chat before I get started with my painting. Wolf10 is apparently called the Goblin Slayer. No, I'm sorry. He says, I'm sorry, Anime Acid Trip to Wolf10. I'm called the Goblin Slayer. Sorry about that, Acid. Ghost bust, wait. I think I'm coming into the middle of a conversation that's very entertaining. So anyway, let's get started here. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take a pencil and I'm going to mark on the horse the parts of the anatomy basically that I'm going to be painting white. And that's the other thing. I'm going to be using 2, possibly 3 different shades of white. Yeah, I know that sounds weird. in order to get the effect that I want. But lucky for me, the raised areas on this are not all that anatomically correct, so it's going to make life a little easier. Like the only things are like on the vertebra here, it just has little marks, so I have to fill that in and put in more of the vertebra. For the rib cage here, I'm going to put in some more ribs and have them connected. I'm hoping that it'll look cool. And if it doesn't, I'll just repaint it and then I'll make it a really spiffy Dia de los Muertos horse, which is what it's supposed to be, but I'm going to make it cooler. So anyway. So Acid Trip is saying that you don't want goblins in your pants. This is a fun conversation you guys are having. Love hanging out with you guys. How's everybody's Sunday, by the way? Everybody having fun? I saw that some of you on Twitter were commenting how you were finally able to return to Mass today. That makes me very happy. For those of you who perhaps had been on lockdown and had not been able to go, how are you doing with that? And for those of you who don't go to Mass, what did you do on this fine Sunday morning? Anything entertaining or special? I woke up and I spoke with my mother. No, that's not a bad thing. That's actually a very good thing. I like my mom. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm drawing the detail work for the skull, and I'm laying in the groundwork for the area that will eventually be where the nostrils are. So that's what I'm doing right at the moment. I'm probably going to paint the skull first because it's just more fun. And I used to draw a lot of horse skulls. I have a lot of art pieces involving horse skulls. They just look neat. If you've never taken a look at a horse skull, do so sometime. They're very, very interesting. Let's say Acid Trip. Guns are great, but nothing beats a good wand or staff. Bullets can't beat fireballs and lightning bolts. That is very true, but absolutely nothing can beat a magic missile. Magic missiles are the ultimate weapon. You know, you can't dodge them. You know, armor can't do fuck all against them. And yes, they don't do that much damage, but you can shoot a whole fleet of them at something, and again, they can't be dodged, and armor doesn't do fuck all. So nothing beats a magic missile. The one time I had a wizard, that was the only weapon that I had was magic missile, and people were, you know, they thought I was crazy. I wish I had been able to have really developed that character because I had big plans. I only played like 2 sessions with that character. That's the trouble with some D&D groups. Either you get a group that you're going to be with forever, or you get a group that you only have like 3 or 4 sessions and then everyone leaves. It's very sad. Went to an Earth 2020 flea market. It was quaint. What is an Earth 2020 flea market, Warzard? Is that like a normal flea market, or is it like an eco flea market? Is it like a space flea market? That sounds pretty neat. acid trip. I'm relearning my guitar scales to improve my skills. I also need to learn solos and be better for Creedence Clearwater Revival songs. A noble goal indeed. Indeed, I admire you for being able to do that. It's been since I was in 3rd grade since I picked up a guitar. So I've got a flute that I want to learn how to play. I just need to clean it. It's the only thing holding me back. From that. MetaWK says shield and force walls. Yes, they are also very useful. Endless Nocturne. I wish I could find a church that is pretty traditional, but also gay inclusive. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. That must be quite a struggle. What denomination are you? Just out of curiosity. I mean, are you? God, this is gonna sound terrible. Are you picky about your denomination? I don't mean picky in a bad way. I mean, like, are you very specific about your denomination, or are you a Christian that feels that as long as you're being able to worship the Lord, you're happy? It's a legitimate question. I've met both. I've met Lutherans that have gone to Presbyterian churches and things like that because that was the only thing around. So that's why I'm asking. Username, when is Adventures in Awful coming back? Oh man, user. As Ishi and I have said, that show takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. It will be coming back eventually. We've just got a lot on our plate at the moment. So as soon as we do have plans. God, this thing is, again, the Arizona sun does not let paint dry. This is the most bizarre thing I have ever run across in my entire life. So Adventures in Awful as you knew them, it's going to take us a little while to get to do one because they take a lot of time. The last episode took Ishi like a month and a half to do. So that's why it's taking so long. We do plan on doing a live Adventures in Awful. We're going to read the preview of the Faith book, or I'm going to read the preview of the Faith book and do it live for all of your enjoyment. So I hope we should be scheduling that very soon. It's just life is very turbulent for us right now. That's the best way I can put it. Okay. Let's see, Victoria, Cat, if you can control the elements, which element would it be? Mine would be fire. Fire is good. For the longest time, I would have said fire, but lately I'm like, no, wind. Wind is my thing. Gusts of wind, tornadoes, even lightning. I am all about wind power. So give me that wind. Let's see here. Endless Nocturne. I am extremely particular about the tenets of my church. I want the Mass to be in Latin. Oh, you're Catholic. Yeah, I can definitely see why you would have a hard time finding a place that was accepting. God, dude, I'm really sorry. I know on the West Coast you'd find places. There are a couple of Catholic churches in San Diego and in Orange County that I know are accepting. But so you have to come out here for that. Username. Oh, I get it. I would still take it if they skip the editing and go straight for the roasting. Pretty much. That's what we're planning on doing for the live one. Elias, hey all, happy Sunday. Kat, from your last stream, you did a ceramic piece, and it's a wonderful piece you did. Ever thought about going bonkers and doing a sculpture, or would that be too hard? It's not that hard, actually, Elias. I'm building up to it. Well, okay. It's not that I'm building up to it, it's that it's finding the time to do it. I'm actually doing this piece right now because I want to do something artistic, but with the way things are in flux at the moment, I don't want to start another art piece. So I figure, well, this I already have. It's already here. It just needs to be painted. So it's easier for me to do than starting another sculpture. But yeah, I totally have thought about doing some sculptures. I want to do some sculptures. I want to do some wall plaques. Actually, I'll show you a sculpture that I want to do. Let me pull it up on YouTube. I love this person's channel. 1 second here while I look for it. There's no. I never remember her name. Z. Von Zed? Zan Von Zed, that's what it is. Zan Von Zed. Zan Von Zed is an artist that I am incredibly inspired by. I love her work. Let me quickly screen share. There it is. So this is Zan Von Zed. First off, I totally want to make this lamp here. This is a working lamp that she did, but the one I really want to make is this. This is a fountain, an Aztec-looking fountain. Here, let me just start the video real quick. Oh, that's a travel log channel that I like watching. Oh, stupid ads. Come on. Is it going to let me do it? Probably because I have too much stuff going on.
Writing's not that easy.
Grammarly
can help.
I don't care about Grammarly.
It is grammatically correct.
There we go. See, I love her work. And I want to eventually do stuff like this. Let me split to the end where you get the final look. I don't know if you can hear the music, but she's got cool music. There we go. So yeah, I eventually want to do stuff like this. Anyway, so I highly recommend Zan Von Zed. I love her work. Her work is amazing, and I eventually plan on doing stuff like that. Let's see. All this painting and figures, any collaboration with Miniac or Dana Howell in the future? I actually have not had the pleasure of meeting either one of them, so I honestly don't know. I'm not opposed to doing collaborations. I've actually, other than working with Ishii, I've never really done one. So, but yeah, I'm not opposed to doing collaborations with anybody, so that would be cool. Definitely. Okay, the paint I just put out is Suede by Craftsmart. There you go. And it is a definite off-white, and I found that it's a great starting base for anything involving bones. even though it says suede. That's so bizarre, but hey, why the hell not? And I'm just going to paint. I'm winging it now, honestly. I've laid in some basics on what I want to do, some basics on where I want bones to be, and I'm just going to go for it. Let's see. Reminds me of Doom. Yeah, totally. I bet if Endless Nocturne, I bet if you make that, you could also do your own teeth cleaning. I need to learn to be more patient when using teeth cleaning picks. Well, actually, as part of my sculpting set, I do have dental equipment. Here, I'll show you. In here, yeah, there it is. See? I haven't used this particular pick yet, but here's another one. Come on, there. See? Got this Explorer tool. We got that one right there too. And this is the one that I use the most often. Has this hook right here, and it has this right on this side. So yeah, dental tools definitely are part of sculpting. They work quite well. Let's see. I bet if you could make that, you could also, oh, that was the same one. Sorry. Sculpture reminds me of Tomb Raider. It does, doesn't it? Wolf10, now I want to stream draw. Totally. We'll make an evening out of it. We should all do it. Do a nice evening of artwork where we just sit and talk and bullshit and paint and sculpt and do all sorts of fun things. It'll be great. And I'm serious about that. I think that that would be a lot of fun. Okay, so I'm starting to paint the vertebrae on the neck. I lied. I know I said that I was going to be starting with the skull, but I changed my mind. Why? Because I can do that. It's my horse, I can do it. Endless Nocturne, oh no, it just reminded me of a nightmare I had 2 days ago. It was the one where my teeth fell out, but one of the teeth wasn't human looking. It was super creepy. Oh, dude. That is really creepy. I think I'm lucky that I've never had one of those nightmares where all my teeth fall out. I am very lucky about that. Because that just sounds horrible. Of course, I've never really had one of those dental phobias either. I've never been afraid of the dentist. Never thought it was scary. I've only ever had one bad experience at the dentist, and that was when I had my wisdom teeth out, and that was because I insisted that they knock me out. And the asshole dentist said, no, we're going to give you something to make you, not care. And I'm like, no, I want you to knock me out. No, we're going to give you this twilight sleep stuff. We need to have you conscious. And I'm like, okay, if you really say so. I woke up during the procedure of the first tooth, during the procedure on the second tooth. And at the end of the third tooth, they couldn't put me back down. They couldn't put me back down. I was wide awake and I felt every fucking thing from the end of the third tooth all the way through the fourth tooth. And I kept screaming at them, give me Novocaine. And they kind of panicked because they told me flat out, we can't give you any more. And I'm like, look, you assholes, I told you to put me under. Like, I have a high tolerance for pain meds. I am one of those freakish people where not only, you know, Oxycontin does jack shit for me, and I do mean that. I took it, and when I had surgery, and they gave me Oxycontin for when I went home to dull the pain, and I took it once and only once, and not only did it do fuck all, I swear it made the pain worse, and I had to wait the 6 hours for it to wear off before I could take Tylenol. Oh, I was so mad. And yeah, my doctor was shocked. They're like, wait, this stuff doesn't work on you? It's like, no, it doesn't. And then when I had a second surgery, they prescribed oxycodone, and I did not take it that time. I had my entire recovery, and that surgery was more invasive. I had the entire recovery on Tylenol and nothing else. Like, well, don't you want Vicodin? I'm like, Vicodin makes me vomit. No. No, I do not want your fucking Vicodin. Sorry, my doctors were good. They just couldn't believe that I couldn't take the pain meds. Artificial Journey, my time reading threads compels me to post thin your paints. I thin nothing. I do not thin my paints. Of course, I'm using acrylics, so who cares? Now, if I was to do a wash, which I may, it depends on how I'm feeling when this is done. I may do a wash to make the horse look more dirty and grungy and more like it crawled out of a mire or something like that. Then yeah, I will totally thin the paints for the wash. But at this moment, no. Joni, when I had my wisdom teeth removed, the numbing stuff stopped working halfway through. Oh, geez. I feel your pain. I totally feel your pain. That is the worst. I mean, I know there's a lot of talented dentists out there, but, that is one of those areas where it's just, knock the person out. Why do you have to give them Twilight shit? I know why they do it. They do it because every time you knock somebody out, you risk them not waking back up, and they don't want the lawsuit. And I can't fault them for that. But no, this is like waking up on you're waking up on the operating table. That's exactly what you're doing. It's like, ugh. Let's see. Underworld dream. I have the teeth falling out dream a few times each year. I'm sorry. Though, I don't recall what that particular dream means, but I have a book on ancient Egypt, and it's a fascinating book. I actually saw the author give a talk once. That was very impressive. And part of the book was all about dream interpretation. And though I don't remember what the teeth falling out thing means to the Egyptians, I did remember that if you were to consume your own excrement, both types, it's supposedly a good thing. It means good stuff is going to come to you. And I just keep thinking, where the hell did they come up with that idea? That, consuming your own excrement means that you're going to have good things come your way. I can only imagine why that would come about. So yeah, that was an odd thing to read. It's a very interesting book, though. It actually has their holy calendar, their calendar of holy days. And the thing is that for the Egyptians, every day was the holy day, except for 4 or 5 days out of the 5 days out of the year, because they have a 360 calendar. They do not have the other 5 days. And so those 5 days are the days that you do not put on the calendar. You do not mention those days exist. You do not talk about them. And the reason why is the gods can't know those days exist. And it's during those days that you have a huge party. Everything shuts down so that everybody can have this huge party and and celebrate the fact that the gods don't know these days exist. I find that very entertaining. But on their calendar, I mean, they have things like, if you're born on this day, you're more likely than anybody else to be eaten by a crocodile. That's how you'll meet your demise. They've got, on this day, you can't sell, certain types of, produce or goods or services or things like that, because it's this particular god's day. So therefore you can't engage in commerce related to that particular god, because it'll like piss them off or something like that. It's very fascinating. But for my birthday, they have it that any baby, doesn't matter, male, female, from anywhere, if there's a baby and it's born on that birthday, it must be sacrificed. Otherwise, that god's going to be pissed. And I'm trying to remember what deity it was that whose day it was. That's really weird of me that I don't even remember what deity it is. But any baby born on that day must be sacrificed. And usually the Egyptians weren't that into human sacrifices. I mean, there is some word about it, and it did happen, but they really weren't all that into human sacrifice. But on that particular day, if a baby is born that day, baby has to be sacrificed. So if I was born in ancient Egypt, I wouldn't be here today because of my birthday. Samuli, worst physical pain you've gone through. I dislocated my shoulder in June. Ow, fuck. How'd you do that? Did you fall off of something? Or were you in a car accident? God, that really... Dude, I'm sorry. Most physical pain I've ever been in. I think I am very lucky in that I have not had much occasion to experience much physical pain. So anything I say is going to sound wimpy as fuck, especially in light of you dislocating your shoulder. Let's see here. I'm not going to say pain. I mean, because there's always the, initial pain when you get hurt. If you, like, I think the most shocking pain I ever had was I was serving myself up some dinner, and my fork went flying into the air, and I went to catch it, and it jammed itself right in there. I still have a scar on the inside of my hand, but the fork jammed right in. And when it happened, I didn't feel anything. I was actually looking at this fork in my hand thinking I broke the fork because I couldn't find the other tong. And it took my mind a while to realize, no, the tong is in your fucking hand. So, hi.
I'm listening to the fork story.
Oh, you're listening to the fork story. Okay. How I'm forking?
Yes.
But, and then when I pulled it out, that's when the pain hit. I felt nothing when it went in, but when it went out, that's when the pain hit. And it was this shooting pain that went right up my arm. And oh my God, so I guess that's probably the most painful thing, was that. Now, as far as discomfort goes, long-term discomfort, because that only lasted like half an hour. Long-term discomfort, I think, was when I when I had 3.5 pounds of flesh cut out of my stomach, and that lingering pain from that was ow. No, it wasn't ow. It was annoying. And I found I got really annoyed and really frustrated by it because I couldn't move and I couldn't do anything. Oh, God. Then if any of you have had drains put in, drains are the freaking worst. I was so happy I nearly cried when the doctor pulled the drains out from that because they were so uncomfortable and just, oh, I hated them. I wanted to pull them out myself, but I restrained the the effort. Acid trip. How do I respect women without being a simp? Treat them like people. Treat them like people. I hate that. I don't know if you're asking that as a joke or you're asking that to be serious, but the very fact that you're asking that is very sad. Women are people, and I think that feminists don't want you to know that. They want you to think that women are these sacred beings that can do no wrong. And just remember, Susan B. Anthony did not want women to have the vote. No, she did not. Susan B. Anthony did not want women to have the vote. And the reason why is because she did think that women were these sacred, holy creatures that needed to be protected by men. And if they started getting the same rights as men, like, then they would no longer be considered something that needed to be protected. They would be considered something equal. Well, me personally, I don't want to be protected. I don't want to be treated like a sacred, creature. I don't want to be protected like a child. Yeah, I want to be an adult with all of the adult responsibilities and consequences. And a lot of feminists don't want that. They like the status of being protected beings, but they want all the privilege of being men. Fuck that. You got to pay to play, right? I fully believe that women should be part of the draft because if you want to have a voice in this country, you should be willing to, put your life on the line or have to put your life on the line for it. Service equals citizenship. Fully and completely believe in that. And I'm going to say this too. If we did have a service equals citizenship model, I can remember being in high school and thinking I would join up for the Marines. And then it hit me, you know what? If I join up with the Marines, I have to be willing to go to war. I have to be willing to suit up, gear up, go to some foreign land for God knows how long, and possibly take a bullet for my country. And I realized I couldn't do it, that I was a coward, and that I couldn't do it. And that's why I did not join the military. And so if there was a service versus citizenship, I know that I would not be a citizen. I would be a civilian. But that is something I am fully aware of and I can accept. Wolf10 Me Grimlock want to know more about Egypt, sculpt lady. Oh, I can tell you tons of things about Egypt. What do you want to know? For the longest ass time, people would ask me what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I say Indiana Jones. I wanted to be Indiana Jones. I wanted to be an Egyptologist. I wanted to do all of that, and I studied Egypt. Like I said, I saw this one talk by this Egyptologist, Bob Mayer. I don't remember his last name. His first name is Bob. If you look up the book Ancient Egyptian Magic on Amazon, you'll find his book. And that's the one that talks about all their rites and rituals. The thing with that book, I picked it up originally because I thought that it was going to be a New Age book. This was back in my high school days where I was really into Wicca and all that stuff. Before I grew up. Nothing against anybody who may follow those things, but I was reading the really stupid stuff, to be perfectly honest. I was reading the really stupid stuff. So I bought this book thinking, oh, I'm into magic. I want to know, all the secrets of the Egyptians. And then I cracked it open. I'm like, hey, wait a minute. No, this is an actual anthropology book. This is talking about real Egypt, not like fruity, new agey Egypt. And my mother was so kind, and when she realized that I loved that stuff and that I had his books, she found out he was giving a lecture at Balboa Park in San Diego. So we went down there, and he's the one who used the ancient texts and looked at the tools and actually studied the ancient texts on how mummification was done. And really pieced together the whole process, and then went out into Egypt, recreated all of the conditions that the mummers would have. So the mummifying tents, they gathered the natron from the shores of the Nile. Now, what is natron? For those of you who don't know, natron is the substance that I'm sure you can find it elsewhere, and I think we can manufacture it now. But natron is the substance found on the banks of the Nile that dries out and preserves anything organic. It basically, rips the moisture right out of whatever it is. And so they gathered all of the natron from the banks of the Nile. They made their own tools using the same material that they had in ancient Egypt. They even had potters make all of the plates in the ceremonial vessels, even the canoptic jars. I mean, they did everything exact to the way the ancient Egyptians would have it, right down to the glazes that were used on the pottery. And they mummified a body using the ancient Egyptian texts and the ancient Egyptian tools. And I got to see that body that they mummified. And the amazing thing about that experience was you see his mummy and you look at a mummy that they actually found in a tomb, and they looked identical. You could not tell his mummy from a mummy found in a tomb. And so that actually really shows how well preserved the bodies were using this process of mummification, that what we're seeing is not thousands of years of it slowly decaying from whatever they did to it. No, the way they put it in the tomb is the way we pulled it out. It didn't change. And absolutely amazing stuff. And that's actually where they learned that that we've always been told that there is that hook that they would shove up into the nose to pull bits of the brain out. That's not actually true. They did use the hook, but they used the hook to break the barrier in the nasal cavity between the nasal cavity and the brain cavity. And then they had this piece of wire that's kind of rounded, and it was like a whisk, and they'd shove that in there and they'd whisk your brain into a slushy. and then turn the head upside down and it would drain out the nose. And then they would shove cotton up your, well, not cotton, they'd shove linen up your nose and pull out any bits that it didn't leak out. But that was interesting. And the Egyptians did not think that the brain served any function. They truly thought that where you thought was in your heart, that the heart was the center of where a person was, and that your brain was there simply so that your head didn't cave in. So it's pretty funny. But I could tell you more about that, but I don't know if people are entertained by that information. So give me a second and I will read more from the chat. All right. Oh, the chat went a while there. La la la. Sorry, guys. The chat went on for a while and I totally got lost. There you go. John, I'd love to see you paint a sculpture of Kamala Khan while you brainstorm better ideas for Kamala Khan's character. Oh. That is something I could do, yes. Truth is, I have no love for the character. I have lots of ideas on how she could be improved, which I believe I've talked about in Adventures in Awful, but I have no love for the character, and if I have no love for the character, I'm not going to do anything with them. We can definitely have a chat about Kamala Khan. I can talk about her, but yeah, I probably would not touch her artistically. Thank you, though. Let's see. Let's see here. I'm just reading what people have in the chat. You will look at my hand on the mouse and me holding the horse. JW, I had to be put under for surgery. Apparently, even though I was completely unconscious, I fought like hell when they tried to intubate me. Now there's an actual warning in my medical file. Wow. Well, I'm glad they actually heeded that, and that they had done what they could at the time. But geez, again, you must be one of those people where painkillers do fuck all. Wolf10, there's a Japanese goddess that ate her own feces for whatever reason, I forgot. And she was murdered because she ate feces. Well, considering they are a very clean people, I'm not shocked. Although that's interesting that it's a goddess. Is this, how old is this legend? Or is this one of those things like the Slipmouth woman where she's now an urban legend that she'll come after people and offer them brownies, I guess. Let's see. Did she have, Wolf10, did she have a shit-eating grin? Underworld, I have the teeth falling out dream because I want to go to the dentist to fix my cavity, but I can't afford it or COVID made my dentist close down. Yeah, those are scary. You want to do the right thing and you can't. Ricky, I'm glad you weren't born in ancient Egypt. So was I. Although, to be honest, I think that's actually an era I wouldn't mind being born in. People say, if you could be born in any time frame, when would you want to be born in? And Egypt, honestly, is a time I legitimately wouldn't mind. strictly because Egypt was somewhat of an oasis. So it's not the desert that we know it is. The main cities were these weird oases where they actually did have plants and trees, and the Nile still flooded because they hadn't dammed it up. And it was a melting pot, specifically what's now what Alexandria, basically, was a melting pot where all these different cultures came together. So you got, people who had traveled the known world, coming from, Greece and Babylon and Persia, and so it must have been like a D&D bazaar, honestly. This wonderful melting pot where there was all of this opportunity, and yes, it was probably a harsh world to live in as well. But I don't know. It just sounds like a really fascinating and interesting place to live at the time. Now, then the next question is which era, considering how old the how long the Egyptians were around for before their eventual collapse. Well, no, it wasn't a collapse. I apologize. They didn't really collapse until much, much later than people think. But at least until...
Egypt never collapsed. It became a satellite of Rome.
There you go. Well, no, I consider it collapsed when well, to be blunt, when the Muslims came in and started destroying all of their artwork.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I consider. You want me to move the camera so that...
But then they won't get to see the horse.
No, true. Okay. Hi.
They want to see the horse.
So you're joining us?
I'm here, aren't I?
Yes. Okay. Can you all hear Ishi?
Want me to get a mic?
Well, because we might want to switch mics. Can we switch mics in the middle of the show?
No, it won't like that.
It won't like that. Okay, because I'm actually going through my headset here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose you could send me a link.
Okay. You want me to send you a link? And
Let
do it
me
that
say
way?
hi to the people.
You want to say hi to the people?
No, through the camera.
Through the camera? Okay.
See, this is what happens when I clean my human suit.
Oh.
Much better now.
Yes. And you're wearing Starscream. Hi. Yes, he's wearing a Starscream shirt.
So, yeah.
So yeah.
All right, so, yeah.
You want me to send you a link?
Sure.
Okay.
The animal or the fat guy? I think I'm lost in the conversation here. Send me a link.
Yeah. Okay, so invite. What do you look for?
No, I don't think Osiris had a golden mechanical penis. I looked it up.
No, he did not. He did not have a golden dong. Okay, Ishi's going to join us on his computer with his setup. But I have his camera, so he won't be on camera. This is thrilling entertainment here while I look for Ishi in my... God, brain not working.
It's okay. They don't want to see me. They want to see the horse.
They want to see the horse. They want to see my big black horse. Okay. Excuse me, everyone, while I invite Ishi. There we go. I don't know if you can hear me because I just moved my microphone. There we go. Okay. I bet you all can hear me better now. Okay. So I just sent Ishi a invite, so he should be joining us very soon. In the meantime, let's do that. Okay. Ah, liquid. I should probably drink some. You know what? Let's see if I can't give you guys a better angle. There we go. That's slightly better. You get a better view of my art table. My art table currently is also being used as my work station when I am at work because I have no formal desk. I got rid of it about 2 years ago, in fact. Okay, Ishi should be joining us very soon. So let's see what else people are saying. Oh, the camera is drooping. No. Ah. There we go. And now it's not. I think I need to do it over here. Oh, there's Ishi. Ah! Stay. Do I need to break out the tape? Okay. Are you in, Ishi?
Yes, I am.
Excellent. Now, can our friends see you? I think they can.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter if they can see you?
No.
No, I mean, can they see you on the screen?
Yeah, they can see my avatar, but I mean, I'm just a motionless avatar. Why don't you just remain on your screen?
Okay, I can do that.
I frankly think horse and cleavage are going to get us better ratings.
Well, the camera got moved, so there we go.
There we go, yeah. There's the horse.
There's the horse. Stay. Okay.
Hey, Star Siege.
You want to take over reading the chat, because I have to break painting every time I read the chat.
Okay, well, Samurai asks, how hot has it been in Arizona?
Well, we have broken a record. We have had 32 consecutive days over 110.
But that's in recorded history, so I mean, that's like nothing.
It is in recorded history, but still.
I mean, historically speaking, it's nothing. Hey, geologically, it's a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Just saying.
No. You are absolutely correct. But it's still impressive.
So anyway, what's been going on while I've been away?
Well, we've been talking about Egypt and dreams of losing your teeth.
Oh, that's the worst.
Mm-hmm. Now, several of our listeners have been sharing their nightmares of losing their teeth or being prevented from going to the dentist for one reason or another.
Okay, let's see. So did you answer the question about the Disney princesses?
No, I did not. What is the question about the
Victoria Fagbile. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a princess because Disney movies now. I kind of grew out of that, although I still like Disney princess movies.
I definitely did like the princess movies. When I was younger, I really related to Ariel. But as I got older, I found that Cinderella was my favorite out of all of those films. But I never wanted to be one. I don't know. I'm just not the princess type.
Yeah, I kind of noticed.
But yeah, I really related to Ariel when I was younger.
And why is that?
Well, she was the misfit. She was the one who didn't belong. Everybody expected her to be one thing, and she was really something else. She was into things that were considered not correct for her to be into. And she just wanted to, the freedom to be who she was. That's all that she wanted. And I was so obsessed with that film. I still to this day have all of the words to Part of Your World memorized. In fact, I won an award for singing that song. So in school.
Yeah?
Yeah. because that's how much I was obsessed with that film. Yeah, everybody's like, "Oh, you must be into Belle because she likes books." I'm like, "No, I was into Ariel." Ariel was adventurous. She, she'd get out there. She'd do the forbidden things. She wanted to learn about her world and find out how stuff worked. Tell me how that's not, a scientist in the making.
Okay, did you, aged boomer, did you ever see the movie Hot to Trot starring Bobcat Goldthwait and the voice of John Candy? No, I wanted to. I've heard that's pretty funny.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
And I remember that coming up on Love Lines with Dr. Drew. And I think it was that Ricky Rackman or was it Adam Carolla or Poor Man? I forget which one was hosting. And they had Bobcat on, and he was talking about that movie.
Really?
Yeah.
What did he say about it?
He had mixed feelings about it. He seemed a little embarrassed about it.
Really?
Dr. Drew was very, very insistent that he really liked it.
Huh.
But, it's probably like Kurt Russell and Captain Ron. He's kind of embarrassed by it. But, John Carpenter got in an argument. I like Captain Ron.
Well, Captain Ron is actually fun. I mean, it was a good film. It's just, it's also a goofy film. It's a product of its time, is what it is.
Okay. I Spy Guy. Kat, did your love for mermaid princesses make you more open to interspecies relationship with a certain alien?
I never really thought about it.
I think it was my tremendous probe that got you interested, but
yeah, it was probably your tremendous probe. One second. Excuse me. Yeah. His impressive probe.
Unit.
His unit.
So, okay, let's see. Underworld Dream. I hate modern Disney princess movies. It's all girl power, so they're so predictable. Now, when I watch Disney stuff, I look for predictable, subversive tropes.
Yeah, that's about right. I mean, they claim, oh, Disney gives girls an unrealistic expectation of life and whatever. It's like, no, the current ones do. The older ones are just fairy tales. They're just stories. And any girl who thought differently was, she had a rude awakening, basically.
I would have to ask, what kind of moron girl sees a movie about a mermaid growing legs and thinking, well, that's what's expected of me, being a mermaid and growing legs? I mean, that's like sub-retarded, right?
Well, no. The idea with that, yeah, no, exactly.
I mean, what kind of idiot sees Snow White and thinks, well, I better watch out for wicked witches coming to get me?
Well, I think
I think the best choice is to move in with, with 7 midgets, or 12 midgets, right? Seven, 7 dwarves. Yeah, 7 midgets who I have to sexually service when I clean and cook.
Well, that's not in the Disney version, but
but it's in the other one.
It is in the other one, but I don't really think they were. They say they were dwarves, but I don't think that that's universal in all the versions.
Weren't some they were actually woodsmen or something?
Yeah, they were miners.
Oh, they were miners. Okay.
They were miners. So make of that what you will.
Yeah, that's kind of like saying, Thundercats created really unfair expectations of children, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, I'm never going to turn into a cat person and fight mummies.
No, I swear that shit's just, excuses for the fact that a lot of these characters are larger than life and do tell kids that you can do something with your life. You just have to try, which makes the adults that didn't try, feel like shit.
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
Well, the Greatest Generation didn't have a problem with any of these films or any of these stories or any of these messages.
The Greatest Generation had real problems, like, starvation and Hitler.
There's a reason why, what are the greatest what was the films that were made in the 30s for the Greatest Generation? Dumbo, Pinocchio, okay, and yes, they did have Snow White, but I mean, all these ones that were like absolute nightmare fuel well, at least for me.
No. Pinocchio's a nightmare, and Dumbo, oh God, no, don't speak to me about Dumbo.
Yeah, I fucking hate that film. I really hate that film.
Wasn't Bambi made around then, too?
Yes, it was.
One that scarred every child and woke them up to the world that, things kind of suck and everyone you know is going to die eventually.
Actually, no, I had no problem with Bambi. It was Dumbo.
Well,
Bambi,
no. Bambi was a film that kind of taught you things. Dumbo was like left you with nightmares.
Yeah. No, Bambi I ran on a loop with Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Hey,
So,
did you ever watch You Can't Do That on television?
oh, yeah, I love that show.
Do you remember the one where Alistair and the other kid were supposed to be seeing a 3D movie that was 3D Dumbo?
No, I don't remember that.
And Alistair kept going on and on about how, oh, this is great. Could you imagine how cool it would be if there were real flying? It's almost like they're real. Yeah. Could you imagine real flying elephants? That would be great, wouldn't it? And the other kid's saying, no, it'd be horrible. And they're getting an argument. Well, no. Why would real flying elephants be horrible? And then a giant turd just lands on him.
I do remember that.
Yeah, that was back when Canadian television for kids had balls.
Yeah. Well, children's television had balls in general.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the Wild West of Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
That was the true Wild West of Nickelodeon.
Got all the weird European cartoons.
Mm-hmm. Well, you had
No, don't say the British ones. That's not European. That's British.
No, I was gonna say Sun Beneath the Sea.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Danger Mouse was its own thing.
Oh yeah, no, I wasn't gonna bring up Danger Mouse and Duckula. I love Duckula. What? You're laughing?
Oh, just my parents just being thoroughly confused by you loving Duckula.
Really? They didn't talk to me about that.
They just did not understand.
They didn't understand Duckula? I'm kind of not surprised your mom didn't, but your dad didn't understand Duckula?
He was more baffled than my mom was.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm dumbfounded, but okay.
Of course, he couldn't believe that you liked a lot of the things you liked.
True. Yeah, it did not. Anyway.
Like video games.
Oh, like undead horses.
Yeah, skulls, axes.
Yeah, you didn't understand my my thing with skulls. What?
I just remember the one year your Christmas list, you had put you wanted throwing knives.
Yeah.
And my parents thought that was a joke.
They did?
Yeah. And then like my sister tried to say, well, maybe it's just like she's trying to learn a skill, because, there's like people who join the circus or, they work in clubs and they do this. It's just an art form, right? It's like, no, I just want knives.
I don't recall this conversation.
Yeah, you just baffled the shit out of them, honestly.
I baffled the shit out of them.
Well, yeah.
That's a joke right there. Anyway.
Hell, they were baffled by Aeon Flux, remember?
Oh, yeah. They're like, yeah, we want to see this. It's European, right? It's like, no. I mean, it's definitely heavily influenced by European comics, but it's not European.
Yeah, that was another one where they were thoroughly kind of horrified by it.
They're like, okay, we're done.
We've seen enough.
Yeah. I remember there was something else that we were going to show them, and they're like, no, that's okay.
Well, they couldn't believe we kept talking about Mexican Santa Claus.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and your mom, she's like, oh, is it real? I want to see it.
This
You
is a
do?
cultural thing. This is going to be culturally enriching, and boy, did she regret that.
Well, I think she wanted to make it part of the
Family tradition to watch these cultural movies.
yeah, it's like, you really want to see Santa Claus, the Mexican Santa Claus film. Like, okay. You really want to.
And then they were kind of horrified by it.
Well, also, that was the first time we had seen it uncut. So
Yeah.
it's like, oh, fuck, Mr.
No, we didn't show them the uncut one. We showed them the MST one.
Oh, we did? I thought we showed them the uncut one.
Well, we watched the uncut one together, and we decided, we're just going to show them the MST one. The uncut one really goes on and on and on.
Well, it showed Mr. Merlin getting Santa high.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Merlin's Magical Shop of Wonders there.
Magical Shop of Yum.
Yes, exactly. Magical Shop of Yum. Okay, here is the neck so far, everyone. Isn't that cool? Okay. I got that. Yes, the Magical Shop of Yum. So what's going on in the chat? Anything?
Do Greys dream? If so, what do they dream of? The face on Mars.
Do Greys dream of electric sheep?
No. The face on Mars.
The face on Mars?
Which is Alex Trebek. Dreams of water, too. And then the sleeper awakens.
Exactly. And then the sleeper awakens.
Okay. Elias Claude. Hey, Kat. Is that Ishi? Tell that space alien he owes me 1,500 for my hospital bills because him and his buddies stuck something up my ass and I can't walk right. Yeah, well, sometimes we make mistakes. And I saw that x-ray on the internet today of the monkey. Sorry about that.
No, he signed the waiver, though.
Did you see that, Kat?
Yes, I did.
The monkey?
No, I didn't. Somebody did that?
That was uploaded. That was going around on Twitter today. Was an x-ray, and this was real, an x-ray of a guy who had a monkey stuck up his ass.
Oh, Jesus.
And it had to be removed.
Okay. No, I'm just...
Spider monkey.
Was a spider monkey?
Yeah.
Why did he have a spider monkey up his ass?
I don't know. Why did Richard Gere stick a hamster up his ass?
Well, I know why Gere stuck a hamster up his ass, but, was this guy smuggling the monkey?
I didn't actually look into that. He might have.
Well, I'm reminded of the guy who, over a decade ago, was trying to go through LAX. And
oh God, that. Yeah, tell that story.
Okay. The guy was trying to go through, he was coming back through into the US from customs, and they scanned his stuff, and they found that he had these weird lumps in his in his suitcase. So they're like, okay, sir, we have to check out what you've got in here just to make sure. We've all been through that. I remember them thinking that boxes of postcards that we had for a convention was bricks of C4. I wish I was joking. That they really did think it was C4. So they open the guy's suitcase and they're going through and they find that he has these glass vials with all these orchids in them. And these are plants that are illegal in the United States. It's like, sir, we have to confiscate these. It's like, okay, confiscate the orchids. And as they're putting this stuff back in his suitcase, one of his socks moved. And so they, of course, had to investigate it. And wrapped up in his socks, he had all these birds, all of these exotic birds, but they were tiny and they had been like basically taped up and shoved in this guy's socks so that he could smuggle them into the country. And so now he's smuggling birds. This is way illegal, on top of the plants. So like, okay, dude, we gotta strip search you. Yeah, we gotta check you out. And they take him into the back and they strip search him. And he has 2 tiny monkeys about yay big taped to his nutsack. He had them there the entire flight. I don't know if they were taped up and awake or if they had been anesthetized or what, but he had these 2 tiny monkeys taped to his nutsack, and that's how he was trying to smuggle them into the country. So he got dubbed Monkey Boy by that. Like all those poor little monkeys.
Yeah. You remember the story about the guy who was mentally ill and he was trying to create a Garden of Eden in his house?
Oh God,
He
yeah.
got a tiger in there and it ate him.
He had a tiger, yeah, and it ate him. He had, well, because he also didn't believe that carnivores were carnivores because they're carnivores. He thought that they were carnivores because society had deemed it so. I don't know. So he was trying to feed the tiger on like plants. Like, yeah, that's smart, dude.
Whoops.
Yeah. Like, well, the tiger showed him. Yeah, they finally, I think it was like neighbors were hearing noises because the tiger ate him and then proceeded to eat everything else in the house. And then it was going nuts trying to get out. And the neighbors called the cops.
Yeah. Anyway, let's see. What else do we have here? All right. Username. User last name. Let it be known that we watch the Adventures in Awful series because of the roast, not the edits. Though greatly appreciated. We'd love to see them return as a podcast or something.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so you don't like all my memes and gags and edits and animations. Well, screw you! I spent weeks on those, goddammit.
No. We were talking about this earlier. And I said that, I reiterated that part of why we stopped doing it is because we just didn't have the time. But that we were planning on doing a live show eventually.
Hey. Did you know without the edits and my additions, the meme "Fuck Tom King" would have never have come to be? That was my doing.
That was his doing.
That was one of my great cultural contributions, along with the Gandalf holding the AK-47 meme. Yes, I did create that image.
Yes, he did. That was Ishi's.
Let's see. Tangled.
Never saw Tangled. Didn't see Tangled. Okay, I take that back. I did not see all of Tangled. I have seen part of Tangled. And my brain promptly decided it was not information that needed to be there. I've heard Brave was good, and I've heard it from multiple sources, many of you here in the chat, actually, and that is the only reason why I entertained the notion of even looking at it. But otherwise, I have no desire to see anything from Disney currently.
Yeah. I think we would all be happy if Disney kind of imploded and got broken up, and the properties were then suddenly handled better.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, at least like with some amount of reverence and respect. I mean, come on, you hear the original story of the Frost Princess, and it's like infinitely better. It's like, why didn't we get this story instead of this woke piece of shit?
Because Bob Iger treats properties the way locusts treat crops.
True. Very true.
The idea of artistry doesn't exist to him. Everything is something to be exploited.
Yeah, I never ever thought that I would utter the words, "I wish Eisner was back."
That's pretty bad, right?
Yeah, but Eisner, at least, it's weird. In his, hapless way, he still had reverence for, the properties and for Disney. It's just he thought he had the better idea on how things should be done, which was wrong. But in his own way, he at least thought he was doing the right thing.
Okay, we got a comment here. Aged boomer. I think 80s kids movies had a nightmare quality to them. Yes, they did.
Indeed, they did.
And I think that's one of the reasons they were enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's probably also why the 80s provided us with such great PG horror films that for both adults and kids, like The Gate, Gremlins, Goonies. I don't know if that counts.
Goonies counts.
Let's see. Those are the three that come to mind. Oh, Critters. Monster Squad.
Never-ending Story.
Oh, yeah. Never-ending Story. I think some other ones that I would...
Dark Crystal.
That was never intended for kids, but yeah. But then also you could say something as simple as, like, say, the Rainbow Bright movie.
Oh, God. Yeah. The Rainbow Bright movie. The Rainbow Bright pilot. And the pilot itself, that actually is something that stuck with me.
Oh, where the kid goes into the park and there's like some weird gateway to the, depressed realm or whatever?
No, Rainbow trying to escape from Murky and Lurky's castle, and she's going through this wasteland, and she actually watches a creature step on a trap and turn into a block of ice and is fucking murdered in front of her.
Wow, I didn't see that.
Yeah, you realize that creature was murdered in front of her, because when she finds Starlight's frozen in ice just the same way, and she goes, "Wait, I can actually hear your heartbeat. You're still alive." And it's like, "Wait, you mean that other thing just got killed?" Like, fuck. So yeah.
Okay, let's see. I Spy Guy, Cat, can you speculate on what kind of diet and exercise routine Skeletor must be on? He's kind of ripped for a skull guy.
Evil.
Evil. A diet of evil.
He has a diet of evil. Although then I could make some really lewd comments about the fact that Hordak is his mentor, and Hordak can turn into cake.
Yes, as a disguise, Hordak turned into an evil birthday cake.
Yes. So then the question is he edible when that happens?
Of course, there were lots of scenes in that series that had to involve cake. I mean, how many times did He-Man, or no, it was Prince Adam, baked a cake?
Oh, at least twice that I can think of. And then he also made Thanksgiving, because they have Thanksgiving in Eternia.
Aeon Flux was hard to follow. She died all the time, like Kenny. Yeah, that was kind of the twist with Peter Chung, is that he had decided for whatever reason she would die at the end of every episode was the plan, although that didn't play out that way. Just most episodes she died.
The episode I didn't like was when she turned into a mom.
Well, that was a parallel reality, was what it was.
Yeah, but I still didn't like it.
Is Mexican Santa a luchador?
No. No, he's not. You would think he would be, but he's not. He is actually Santa Claus, but he lives in a castle made out of ice and sugar with the ghosts of aborted children working in his sweatshop.
Not aborted. They
Well,
were stillbirths, right?
I thought it was both. Children who were not baptized. How about that?
That actually makes sense. Let's see. Wait, there isn't a face on Mars? Well, not anymore. There used to be. The mountain formation that had that shadow isn't all that impressive anymore. Erosion on Mars is pretty brutal.
Very true.
So what are you doing right now, Kat?
What am I
Since this
doing?
is an arts and crafts stream, describe what you're doing for the audience.
I am painting a nose. I am painting his nose and painting the skull around his head, because where else would a skull be? I've got his eyes laid out, and you can't see my screen, but I'm actually looking at a horse skull at the moment on my computer and using it as reference.
Samuel Aoki says, in regards to the man with the monkey up his ass, serious monkey business.
Indeed.
Underworld Dream, I found an x-ray of a guy and a squirrel up his ass, but no monkey. You had to think about that, huh?
Well, it's just I found a picture of a guy with a squirrel up his ass, but I haven't found a monkey.
Endless Nocturne, have you heard stories about ecological horrors of invasive species?
What, like bunny rabbits in Australia? Or, yeah, like bunny rabbits in Australia.
Or kudzu?
Or kudzu. There you go, kudzu. Fucking kudzu.
Let's see. Come on, there's got to be a really bizarre one.
What are you looking for?
Oh, some sort of bizarre, interesting comment that will get you talking.
Okay, well, if you can't find one, you can always...
Anime Acid Trip writes, by the way, I hate animes where it has a main two characters who are clearly like enough, but spend the entire show either hating each other or cock teasing each other till the end.
Yeah, that's annoying. That's really annoying.
Star Siege Player says, fuck Tom King. Absolutely. Anime Acid Trip. I'm half Mexican. Meaning I'm half Aztec. Many streams ago, you said Aztecs were actually reptoids. So am I a reptoid? No, they were deeply influenced by the reptoids. They weren't reptoids. They were influenced by the reptoids. They worshipped them, in fact. And that's where they got a lot of their weird ideas about human sacrifice and cannibalism. Actually, your lineage, as far as half Mexican, could be very mixed. I mean, it depends how much of it is native blood and how much of it is Spaniard or French.
Or German.
There's not a lot of German there, although that is where that what is it, ranchero music came from.
Mm-hmm. Indeed it was.
Okay. Endless Nocturne. Maybe reptoids have it so human beings disguise so their human disguise produce human gametes, which would blow their cover if kids came out lizardy. Oh, they're into blood purity. The half-breeds aren't treated very well.
So, question was, did Lovecraft actually know the secret of reptoids but didn't want to say it, so that's why they're fish people?
I think it's the whole reptoid thing was very inspired by him Howard's writings.
Well, definitely Howard's writings.
Definitely a lot of different things that were mentioned. I mean, hell, the proto version of the Greys, down to abductions and human suits and all that other stuff, was in Whisperer in the Darkness. But they were these giant crawfish with bat wings.
That's terrifying.
You've heard that one, right?
Oh, yeah. It's still terrifying.
Anime Acid Trip. I'm a pale Mexican, and trust me, I dodged a bullet. Mexicans are really racist against dark-skinned Mexicans. Hell, my dark-skinned Dominican dad got shit for it. Yeah, I've heard that, we're always hearing about brown pride, and in California, we got no end of that. Is you had this whole brown pride thing where they had the Aztecs painted on the sides of their vans or their lowriders, and they'd wave Mexican flags. And it's like, back home, they treat you like utter garbage. Maybe you should just be proud to be Americans, where, it's okay to be brown. It's cool. Don't worry about it.
You
and
think
you
that?
And star on TV shows like Chips. Or Andy Sedaris movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Hey there, Owen. How's it going?
Hey, Owen.
Anime Acid Trip. To continue from my anime comment, if by the end they should be dating, married, or or the dude spelunking her booty bunker.
Wow. Booty bunker.
I'm telling you, so many animes would be better with an anal scene.
Oh, my Lord. I will be right back. I got to get my black paint.
Yes, the one guy from Yuggoth. Exactly. That's the Lovecraft story where definitely it had influence on the whole Grey mythology. There are tons of British TV shows covering HM revenue and customs on YouTube, most cigarette smuggling, but there are some drug finds, like the one lady blaming Hillary Clinton for her arrest. Do you think Cthulhu was inspired by the Greek titan Typhon? It's entirely possible. Lovecraft wasn't very talkative about that, about what his influences were, other than Edgar Allan Poe and I forget the other author's name. Is it Mackin? But you look at Lovecraft stuff, and there is a ton of influences that he won't admit. Like, clearly, he was a big fan of H.G. Wells. That's very obvious. He clearly read tons of stuff from Madame Blavatsky. I mean, that's all over his writings.
Who are we talking about?
Lovecraft.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Aged Boomer, do you think the kids' books, movies, and other media today have an effect on youth, on how they develop into adults? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Kat?
Yeah. Well,
No. We need more than a yeah.
I was just about to expand. Jeez. Give me a second.
No. Now.
Well, okay. Well, what did you want me to expand upon specifically?
I just know you have some very strong opinions on the subject.
Oh, I definitely do. The literature that you feed to your kids when they're young is definitely going to help shape them when they are older. And that's why I'm so happy with a lot of those people who are in our chat, or who we've talked with on Twitter, when they've talked about what they're raising their kids on, that they're not showing their kids movies that were made within the last 10 years. They're not reading anything that's contemporary, because it's all filler fluff and, quite frankly, bullshit. I mean, like the Paw Patrol. You're really going to tell me that Paw Patrol is going to have more substance and teach your kid more than G.I. Joe? No, that's a serious question.
Well, at least G.I. Joe had a plot and characters,
Well, it had a
And
plot.
conflict.
It had a plot. It had characters. It had actual conflict. And at the end of the day, G.I. Joe was teaching you, morals and shit. Same with He-Man. I mean, as goofy as those shows were, let's face it, those shows are what raised an entire generation. And especially, you can't tell me that Batman wasn't everybody's second daddy.
Yeah.
So many kids learned their moral compass from watching Batman the Animated Series.
Well, I sure as hell didn't learn it from my parents.
No.
I would have to agree. The Batman animated series had more influence on that. Yeah.
And so, as far as what you read to what you expose your kids to with reading, again, a lot of those kids' books are absolute drivel and just they're pretty pictures with cute little stories. I mean, as simple as The Hungry Caterpillar was, that artwork was engaging even for adults. And it did actually teach kids things like counting and stuff like that. And then for me, I grew up in a household where my mom read to me every night. And the older I got, the more sophisticated the books got, to the point where by the time I was 5 or 6, she wasn't reading picture books to me anymore. She was reading actual books with stories, like The Golden Goblet, which honestly, The Golden Goblet is where I got my love of Egyptology from. Fascinating book. And it's a Newbery Award winner, too. Back when Newbery Awards and Caldecott's actually meant something.
Yeah, back when they meant something, not, oh, yeah, this is woke garbage.
So, no, what you expose your kids to when they're younger, it definitely has an impact. And because that's the age when kids are learning how the world works and how the world functions. And if you expose them to drivel, well, you get people like Antifa who are shocked when they throw bricks at the cops, so the cops shoot at them.
Well, I got to admit, seeing the neighborhood of working class guys scare the crap out of them, and when they acted up, they got their skulls crushed, was quite satisfying.
Yes, it was.
I think that's
Yes,
what
it
we're all
was.
longing for, right?
Indeed.
Joni, Officer Joni. I thought Optimus Prime is most people's other dad. To some degree, yeah, that is true.
I didn't grow up with Transformers, so Batman was mine.
But we were always joking about how we were raised by television, but it kind of is true. I mean,
We were raised by television.
Television and our grandparents.
Yeah.
So I think that's why we did not turn out like the millennials. Well, that, and I suppose also when you're fending for yourself at age 5 and up,
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to have this sort of idea that everything is going to be given to you or that you're entitled to much of anything.
Yeah.
So I think there's that too. Suppose bitterness didn't hurt. Sometimes a bit of bitterness can serve you well, make you suspicious of things. Don't be so trusting when the college professor decides to tell you that their wonderful ism is going to solve all your problems.
Like, is it really? Really and truly? Okay.
What?
No, just that.
Yeah. Okay. So, what other shows were a big influence on you as a kid, Kat?
Me?
Yeah. You.
Okay. Influence. Well, we've already discussed Eon Flux. I already brought up Batman. Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tales from the Crypt. When I was younger. I mean, there's lots of shows that I absolutely loved, but I mean, things that actually influenced me. I would have to say Tales from the Crypt, Eon Flux, Batman. Actually, Ninja Turtles. I was obsessed with Ninja Turtles for like the longest time.
I think showing my age for me, I think the first television show where I got the sense of it clearly having an effect on my own moral compass and views was original Star Trek.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember being a very small child and growing up on that.
Yeah, definitely.
Then I saw Star Wars as a kid.
Oh, Star Wars. Yeah, I was weird. I liked Star Wars, but it wasn't until I was older and I saw it on the big screen in 97, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was when I saw it on the big screen that's when I really got into it again.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you love Star Wars far more than I do, and you definitely have a far more expansive knowledge of it.
Well, like of course I grew up on it because we had bootlegs of it when I was a kid, and my mom would run it every once in a while along with David Lynch's Dune. And so, yeah, it was just this fun thing that I'd play when I was at the bad babysitter's house, living the Muppet Baby lifestyle. They, just like with the Muppet Babies, Star Wars was constantly on a loop at like 2:00 in the afternoon on one of the channels. So I saw a lot of Star Wars that way, but it wasn't until I saw it on the big screen, specifically seeing Empire on the big screen, that I'm like, why have I not realized how amazing this film is? Yeah, why is it only now that I'm realizing how awesome this film is?
And then from then on, it was just kind of an obsession.
Yeah, kind of like I'm not gonna say obsession because I wasn't that. I wasn't obsessed. Just like with all of
You
the things that I'm
obsessed. Okay, Kat.
Hmm?
What makes a lightsaber work?
Lightsaber has a crystal in it. So, and huh?
What's the thing called?
I'm blanking on it at the moment, actually.
Really, that's a shock. You usually remember. You were the one that told me.
I know I'm totally blanking on the term right now, but yeah, it's got a crystal in it that focuses the.
Kyber crystal taught me that.
Yeah, thank you. But anyway.
Okay, and how is it that you can parry things with a lightsaber when they're traveling at you at like near light speeds?
That's because you use force sense and it's the precog force ability to sense that it's coming towards you. You use force sense to know that it's coming at you, and you pull it towards your lightsaber, and then from there you can either bounce it back at the person that shot it at you, and if you do that, you can either hit the person themselves, or you can shoot it back at the gun, thus disabling it, or you can deflect it off to something else.
Okay, what the hell's a boffin?
What's a Bothan?
Yeah.
A Bothan is a creature. They're kind of fuzzy. They're about 4.5, maybe 5 feet tall. They look like tiny yetis, and their fur changes color depending on their mood.
But yet, you're not really that into Star Wars. That's what you're telling me. But you're really not into that. That you're not into Star Wars that much. I mean, you're just kind of a passive fan, like me.
You said you were talking about when I was younger.
Well, I didn't realize I was so into Star Trek till I got older, and I realized it was because when I was younger watching it.
That is very true. That is very true.
Okay, let's see. Oh, shit, I remember this.
Hmm?
COPS, Central Organization of Police Specialists, gave me a healthy dose of respect for the blue line. I had a lot of hope for COPS, but I think I was too old for it by the time I saw it. Because, I saw this and I was like, okay, this is going to be like RoboCop light. And then that cartoon was just so... It was obviously skewed young. And the thing was, the comic books weren't as skewed young. In fact, it was a totally different story.
I think this was probably before my time, maybe.
Does anyone remember Exo Squad? Not only do I remember it, we tracked down the DVD.
Yes, we did.
Only the first season's available. That's it. And I don't know when that was on. I just remember that I would see it before I got up for work in high school.
I didn't see it until he showed it to me. That show is awesome. And it's such a lost opportunity considering.
And Battletech, I wish that it had better animation because there was so much hope for that.
Mm-hmm.
The writer episode of Extreme Ghostbusters was pretty freaky.
Oh. I'm trying to remember that episode. Yeah, I'm trying to remember that episode. I don't remember it.
I remember the Spiral Zone Star Siege player. I mean, I kind of wish those were still available. That never got a chance. Okay, so Real Ghostbusters. That show, by the way, written by...
I thought you said Extreme Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I never watched it. I wasn't watching kid stuff by that time, so I missed that. But the one I like, the one that really stuck with me, was the guy who made a pact with an imp, or was it a demon? I forget. To get rid of all the chickens in the world. Because he hated chickens so much. You remember that?
I do.
And the demon finally wanted to get out of the deal because no one in hell took him seriously anymore. They all laughed at him.
You're the chicken guy.
He gets summoned up, and what's his purpose? He's asked to get rid of all the chickens in the world. Great stuff.
That's hilarious. God, the plots on that show were so good.
Trying to think of some others that really stood out. That was the one that really stood out to me. I mean, there was the one with the killer geranium that was kind of funny. Oh, see, you remember.
Vaguely.
Or there was the one where Venkman had to go it alone and made a microwave gun that barely worked.
I do remember that.
So, let's see. Let's get some other comments. Seto Kaiba Crystal, huh? Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
Owen Lister, Bible Man was the only Christian superhero I had. Well, what about Batman? He's Catholic. Or does that not count?
But he's not Bible. He's not promoting the Bible.
Yeah, I guess he's not really evangelizing. He's kicking ass.
Yeah. He's living it.
Anime Acid Trip. I still get weird looks from people when I say I'm a Mexican Trump supporter. Like, do you realize I'm an individual, right? I'm born in here and I love my country, so why not love the president? There's a lot of Latinos who like Trump. It's just they can't seem to talk about it, apparently.
It is for the beating.
The weirdest cartoons based off non-kiddie movies. Okay, the Attack of the Killer Tomatoes was arguably kiddie fair.
Oh, stuff that kids could like, but it wasn't originally intended for kids?
Yeah.
Short Circuit.
It's Endless Nocturne. To Anime Acid Trip. My family keeps saying stuff like, you just really never experienced stuff like racism and had to deal with Yeah, that. Tell me about it. Wait, the Ghostbusters with the gorilla.
Oh God.
Oh God, yeah. Here we go. Not for kids, but still sold to kids. Rambo: Soldier of Freedom.
Oh God.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, Rambo, Soldier of Freedom, Terminator 2.
Okay, I think JW Champagne here has just shown his age because now he's predating me. He's naming shows that I was a toddler at, so I have the vaguest of vague memories. And by the way, I have a very good memory for that time. JW Champagne says, currently tracking down the various Filmation live action series. Space Academy, Jason of Star Command, Arc 2, ISIS, and Shazam. I vaguely remember Shazam, and I probably came across Space Academy and Jason of Star Command. Maybe. I know I saw ISIS, but have no memory of it. I was a toddler at that point. Okay, Bar One Studios. No, Cat, I mean cartoons that were specifically based on live action movies and franchises that weren't for kids. Toxic Avenger, Police Academy, Robocop. That should have never been a cartoon.
No, it shouldn't have been. No, you were okay.
Yeah?
I'm squinting because there's an age gap between us, and I'm trying to figure out if yeah, I know cartoons that I don't think should have ever been created at all, like the Godzilla cartoon based on the really shitty movie that has the name of Godzilla on it.
Oh, yeah, the Matthew Broderick disaster.
Yeah. Yeah, there's that cartoon. Strangely enough, the Men in Black cartoon was good. Let's see, what else? Why the fuck did they make a RoboCop cartoon? I'm sorry. That one baffles.
Hollywood are bad people.
Yes, they are.
I mean, do you remember when we were brokering Titanium Rain and I said, okay, I have very few demands. I don't care what you do. The one demand I have is you're not selling this to kids. I came back the next week and it was in the contract. They're selling it to kids.
Yep.
They weren't happy unless we were unhappy.
I'm like, oh, that's the one thing he wants, huh? Like, we hate you fucks.
I only hope those people are all going to go out of business or end up in prison because of Pedophile Island.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, so what else can we get you ranting on? How about Power Rangers?
What do you want to know about Power Rangers?
Do you think Eisman News really was selling jizz? Because I kind of get the feeling he was.
Well, he kept saying, share this with your parents. You know, the kids really weren't into it, but the parents seemed to be attracted to it.
Here, smear this all over your mom's face. Okay. Oh, trying to think of Sky Commander is like Captain Power. Oh, yeah, Captain Power. Another one from J. Michael Straczynski, actually. That was his attempt to do a show that was somewhere in between adults and kids. And it just never got the chance it should have. I think it was too childish for kids or for adults, but too adult for children. And I mean, the plots themselves were great. I mean, they had a legit cyberpunk episode. But,
really?
Yeah. But then, I mean, some of the names and the villain was just too fucking goofy.
That's sad.
So, but yeah, it had kind of a Terminator plot going.
Like what? The going back to the past to
No,
save.
no. Actually, it was a future where everything had been destroyed because of a nuclear war,
Mm.
war with machines. So it was in the ruins of civilization. That and the costumes were kind of goofy at times.
Oh yeah.
It was very clear that Straczynski wanted to do an adult show. Very, very clear. And that really wasn't going to sell toys, I guess.
Mm.
Okay, let's see what the audience says. A machine war where the enemy machines were digitizing humans. Yes, exactly. Carmen Sandiego cartoons and the game show on PBS.
Oh, the TV show on PBS was great.
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
Never saw it.
Yeah, it was actually really good. But yeah, it was actually educational, and it was one of those things where I'd watch it and I'm like, there is no way in hell I am ever getting on this show because I suck at geography.
I would have done okay.
Yeah, you would have done great. Me, no. And it had the woman who is the host. She did a couple of guest spots on Law and Order as a judge, and she was great shouting at people.
Actually, I think she was a regular
Mm-hmm.
that they would call upon from time to time.
Yeah, she was great.
Just like they had Steve from Married with Children.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, let's see. Can't imagine this is very interesting to the audience, but
What? Looking at
that's rambling. Oh, you're painting a skeleton along the side. That's cool.
yeah, it's a skeleton horse. See? So, like I said, I'm. Well, here I'll bring it closer.
Ivan News should have been the villain in Turbo, but Diva Talks. I don't even know what that is. Diva?
That was after I stopped watching the show.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, somebody asked some really bizarre questions here.
Okay.
No, I'm asking people to.
Oh, to ask bizarre questions.
Oh, Bible Man, wasn't the actor the voice of Hank, the Ranger from the D&D cartoon? No, that was Buddy from Eight is Enough and Charles in Charge
Yeah.
on Bible Man.
Mm-hmm. Charles in Charge.
Yeah.
I used to watch the show. I know the theme song.
Big Guy and Rusty. Never got to see that.
I saw a couple of episodes. I just never got into it.
I think that was when I was in college, and so my viewing was limited.
I just know that fans of the original said that Rusty was infinitely nicer in the cartoon than in the comics.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently Rusty was like a real asshole. Well, he's a snot-nosed kid who, doesn't want to listen.
Okay. Bison beef.
Bison beef? Okay. Sure, bison beef.
Ricky Joya, what are some foods to counter estrogen intake?
Do not eat anything that has soy in it. Avoid soy like the plague. And I'm not exaggerating and making a joke with that. I legitimately mean don't eat anything with soy in it. If you read the ingredients and it uses the word soy, don't. Because soy is an artificial estrogen.
Yeah, wasn't it when you were eating soy products it was fucking up your cycle?
Oh, yeah, totally. It was making me Yeah, absolutely insane and an insufferable bitch. And when I cut out the soy, gee, all of that. Well, I can't say it went away, but it at least became mild enough that I didn't lose my head every 28 days.
And you see these guys who decide they're going to become women, and they go on estrogen treatment, and then they go crazy, and you wonder why.
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious why.
Like, you really didn't think this through, did you?
I have to admit, when you start seeing some of these trans women talking about their estrogen treatment or their hormone therapy experiences, and oh my God, why do I keep crying? I can't stop crying, and I don't even know why. What's wrong with me? Why is my chest sore? It's like, I thought you were a woman inside, dude. You're not ready for this?
Yeah.
You didn't know?
You didn't get warned about this, huh?
What, you think it was going to be like turning into that character in Kick-Ass?
Yeah.
You're going to fulfill your fantasy of becoming a anime waifu?
Yeah.
Nope. Now you're just a freak show. Now, it is kind of depressing to see people that were once very functional, very likable, intelligent gay people who have taken the trans pill and just went completely bonkers. I probably just got your stream banned.
Whatever. I don't care. Huh?
Have you noticed that?
What?
Guys who go on HRT and they just go completely bonkers.
Oh, well, look at Blair. I mean, I have a lot of respect for Blair. In fact, Blair is probably one of the few people who made the transition that I think it was actually the best thing, for her. And because she had all of the tests, she had all the therapy, she had everything. It's just, no, you really are not supposed to be male. And she definitely was so much happier being female, and she didn't come out as being trans. That was the other thing, is the fact that she transitioned so perfectly. She wasn't shouting at the top of the hills, "I used to have a dick." She only came out because of all the bullshit and the fetishizing, especially of children. And so I have a lot of respect for her, but I know that when she went on hormone therapy and she started being more female,
and bitchy, and it's like, wait a minute, you're not a tomboy anymore. I really don't want to listen to your show anymore. I remember that was your comment.
Yeah, it's like, I have tons of respect for you, Blair. I love you. I just can't listen to you anymore because now you're talking like every single one of those chicks in high school that I utterly despise. So I have to not be around you.
Blair, you're a real woman.
Yeah, you are now a real woman. Congratulations. I can't be around you now.
I gotta admit, it must be really tough for the genuine tomboys like yourself, or Aiden Paladin, your friend Becca. Because where do you fit in?
Men.
Men, yeah.
All of my friends are men, except for Becca. All of my friends are men. There are worse things in the world than being surrounded by men.
What?
It's just, well.
And the few times that you've met really cool females, it's like, oh well, you're 4 states away.
At least like Janelle.
Yeah, we meet Janelle and then we move.
Yeah.
That sucked.
But we know her. Yeah, that's what matters. We know her. All of my friends live in the magic box that is my computer. I am resigned to this.
Magic box. Okay.
Yes, it is the magic box where all of my friends live. What?
Sure if that's depressing or kind of entertaining.
You know, I don't, well, and then, you know, this way I can take my friends with me.
You can put them in your pocket and walk around town,
Exactly. You all can live in my pocket.
just like Ronin Warriors.
Yes, you can hug my ass.
That was the show, right?
Ronin Warriors, they hopped into his crotch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What?
Sorry. That show still makes me laugh every time I see their power up. Okay, for those of you who don't know, Ronin Warriors is kind of a male equivalent to the Sailor Scouts, in that they each have a color theme, and they each symbolize something, and then like they can, like Captain Planet, their powers can combine so they can be all uber. But when they go uber, it's not like Captain Planet where, you know, the powers in their rings form a person. And it's not, it is them lending their abilities to the I guess the higher form, the higher Ronin warrior, but it's them lending their abilities to the leader who's in red. I can't remember what his name is. And they kind of dematerialize into beams of light and go into the leader, and so that his armor becomes this like shining white armor so that he can go fight the bad guy. But where they go is into his crotch, not his chest, not even like the solar plexus, the belt. No, they fucking hop into his crotch so that he can go white. And I think he gets a longer staff when that happens. He gets a longer pig sticker. And in high school, when we're, you know, you got myself and my best friend at the time, we're two teenage girls watching this every day. And damn it, that didn't make us giggle so idiotically for hours every time we'd see that. And I'm not exaggerating, hours, but we were horny teenagers. What do you want?
Oh, that joke went on past being teenagers, if I recall.
Oh yeah, no, I still giggle about it.
I mean, I remember the early days when we were just hanging out and gaming, and you guys would just go off on that show.
We were horny teenagers, and it was cute boys kicking ass, you know. And just like on every ensemble cast, you have the one that you glom onto. And I didn't want to tell my friend that the one that she had a crush on was also the one that I had a crush on, so I lied and said it was another guy so that we wouldn't fight.
Seriously?
Yes. I knew that if I brought it up and said that I liked him too, we were going to fight over it. And it's like, you know what? It's not worth fighting over a drawing of a boy, you know. I can pretend that it's another character. What?
This is a little bizarre.
Welcome to the world of how idiotic teenage girls think.
Okay. There's a neat question, but I've got to do a few checks to make sure I'm trying to date things correctly. So ramble on. Continue. What are the... You talk about your Gundam obsession and Duo.
You want me to talk about Duo?
And well, which one was Rose obsessed with?
Troa.
Okay.
Troa, the circus clown. By trade. How the fuck? Okay. Gundam Wing, for those of you who may not know, Gundam Wing had, out of its 46 episode run, had 41 writers. I know that in there somewhere there was a plot that actually made sense. In fact, if you break it down and you use archaeology to piece it all together, you can find that there very much so is kind of a Moon is a Harsh Mistress type plot going on between the colonies and Earth, and that the Gundams were kind of one of the colonies' last efforts to get some sort of autonomy. And that's a great plot, but it got lost somewhere, horribly lost. It really also seems like it was originally written so that there was only three main Gundam pilots, and then of course you had the rogue character Zex, and the samurai fencing between Zex and the main character Hiro, and them going back and forth. So it's this big convoluted thing. I'm not going to get into it right now, but the main story really seems to have been written for Zex, Hiro duo, and Catra, those main pilots. The other two pilots, Troa and Wu Fei, seem to be there strictly so that they could have an ensemble cast. There's really no reason for them to be there. And even when you get their backstories seem like, were you taken from another plot and brought in here because they needed to have an ensemble cast? And Troa's whole thing, I can get into how convoluted it is if you really want me to, but where the story starts off is he's hiding out in a fucking circus as an acrobatic clown. That is his cover story for why he is on Earth, is that he is an acrobatic clown in a circus, and he travels with the circus. Now, he's a Gundam pilot, which means he has a Gundam. He has a robot that is well, depending on the scale that you're looking at, is at least 3 stories tall. How does an acrobat clown hide such a robot? Well, you lay him down on a truck bed and you throw a tarp over it. That's how you hide it.
Well, naturally, right?
And nobody questions why an acrobatic clown has a 3-story tall truck with a tarp over whatever is underneath it. Nobody questions, nobody peeks. Well, one person peeks, but she's the love interest, so fuck that. It's just, why are you here? Why does this character exist? What does he add to the story? What does his presence give to the story that, like, otherwise would be left unfulfilled? The answer is nothing. I mean, the only character who's even more worthless is Wu Fei, who just, like, sits in the woods all day, crying, because his girlfriend left him, and he legitimately believes that his girlfriend's ghost has inhabited a robot, which is apparently a Chinese legend. I did not know that, but he believes that the ghost of his dead girlfriend, who was killed for reasons, inhabits his Gundam and is pissed at him because he hasn't yet avenged her death. So basically, he's constantly being berated by his Gundam, in his mind, telling him that he's a fuck up. Why do I have this character in my show? that it lends nothing to the story. Why is this here? Okay, there. I went on my Gundam rant for the show.
And Rose was obsessed with him.
Rose was obsessed with Troa, yes. Yeah, she was obsessed with Troa, and I'm not getting into I can get into the depths of how stupid I was as a fangirl in high school if you really want me to, but yeah, it got retarded. But we were in high school. That's my okay. I will say this: as much as I look back on that and go, "God, I was a fucking moron," I can talk about how much of a moron I was. I'm not shy about that. What I can proudly say is that we were in the mall going to the comic book store.
This was great.
To look at the Gundam models. And it was the two of us. And we were fanning out over the Gundam models.
You and Rose, right?
Yeah, Rose and I. And a gaggle of girls, there were about 3, possibly 4 of them, came in and they fanned out too. And so, like a fucking herd, we all kind of glommed together and started fanning out all together and go, "Oh my God, it's cringeworthy. I can look back on it and cringe at the way I was. But at the time, we thought it was great. Here's this another gaggle of girls who are just into Gundam as we are, because we only knew boys who are into Gundam. So it was great to have girls. And we left the shop all together. And we started walking around the mall all together, going, "Are you into this? I'm into this. You're into this person. I'm into this person." And it's like, "Oh my God, it's so great." And and it was wonderful to have this moment of fandom until it was either Rose or I don't remember which one of us it was. And I was, "Hey, you've got a Relina doll. Did you make that?" And it's like, "Yeah, I made this doll, and I also made these other ones." It's like, "Wow, that's really neat that you made this doll," because we wanted plushies of the characters, and you can't get them in the United States, or at least at the time you couldn't. So it's like, "Wow, you made your own doll," and we're like, "Well, how'd you do that?" And the girl says, "Well, this Relina doll started off as a duo doll, but I changed my mind." And it's like, "Well, why did you change your mind?" And it's like, "Well, because I really hate Relina, so this is actually a voodoo doll." And Rose and I both froze at the same time. And like, "That's a voodoo doll?" And by this time, the show had actually ended on Cartoon Network. So we all already knew the ending. And we also knew that it had ended long ago in Japan. But it had ended its run on Cartoon Network. So there was no more. We saw the ending. We saw how it ended. And she goes, "Yes, this is a Relina Peacecraft voodoo doll because I hate her so much. I hate what she's done to Hiro." And so I take this out every night. And both of us, like, we kind of looked at each other, and we both together politely said, "You know what? We have to meet our parents elsewhere," and separated from these girls. And as soon as we got out of earshot, both of us had the looks on our faces together, like we had seen like the darkness, and the darkness had stared back. And we're like, "That could be us." We could be like them. And we were both horrified by the fact that these girls took the fandom to such an extent that they had made a voodoo doll of a character that didn't actually exist for a show that had been over for years, because she really hoped by sticking pins in this character every night that the creators would somehow know in the ether and would make her dreams come true and make an addendum to where Relina Peacecraft dies. And that ended the Gundam fandom for both of us. It's like that was it. We were done. We didn't want to watch the show anymore. We didn't want to build models anymore. We didn't want to look at the tapes that we had both bootlegged off of the television. We were done. That totally ended it. I didn't want to look at a Gundam model for quite a while after that. It's like for fear that I may have been tainted and might go down that dark path.
Show me on the doll where the Gundam touched you.
Exactly. I mean, now I can enjoy it. I mean, again, I kept my models. I didn't get rid of them. I kept my models, and as I mentioned before, I've got a death scythe. Actually, see if you guys can see it. Let's see. Of course, I'm sitting. Okay, you can't see it really. The death scythe is over there by the door, in the glass dome right now. So, I do still love it. It's just that ended the actual fandom for me.
Just killed it dead, huh?
Killed it dead. Well, it's just I like seeing how crazy those girls were. It's like I don't want to wind up like that. I don't want other people looking at me like I'm insane when I talk about something that I love. It's just I'm done.
That's reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I had to go nab a few images before I answered the next question.
Okay. And what is the next question?
But now that I've found my images, I can answer such things. And okay, the question is, okay. Oh, did you have any last minute advice about estrogen, how to counter estrogen? I mean, red meat.
Red meat, exercise, avoid everything that has soy. Let's see here. I hate to say it, but it's actually true. Dairy. Unless it's processed dairy. Cheese is fine. I don't know about ice cream, but milk. It's one of those things where it's mild, but you notice it, and there's something in it that it's not hormones. It's not fucking hormones. I'm not one of those hormone freaks, but there is something about it where once I cut out the dairy, that helped a lot too. So.
Okay, so the next fun question here. What cartoon character gave you your first tingly in the pants?
Oh.
And while you think of an answer, I've got two. I would say the absolute first would have to be, let's get rid of the banner. Have to be Nico from the Galaxy Rangers. Not sure why, but yep, she did it for me. So that's my answer. And then as a runner-up, there's always RC. But definitely Nico from the Galaxy Rangers. She was badass. And she had that Betty Page cut and curves. Cat?
Cartoon character. Oh. Male Vampire Hunter D, female Eon Flux.
Both very good choices.
Mm-hmm.
And any show you disliked about as a kid but love as an adult?
Children's shows or shows in general?
It doesn't say.
That's a hard one. Because I watched a lot of shit when I was younger. In fact, if it was on TV, I watched it there for a while, and it was hardly anything I wasn't watching.
So anything that you watch begrudgingly that now as an adult you like?
It shouldn't be this hard. kind of come back to me. Let me think about it.
I don't have an answer for this one either.
Let's see here.
So, Ishi, bizarre question. Is ketchup technically a fruit? If so, can it technically go on a salad? Sure, why the hell not?
Anything can go in a salad. I mean, look at taco salad. A salad that's like, 2,000 calories.
Let's see. Oh, they're talking about racism. Power Rangers.
Actually, I do have one. Battleship Yamato. When I saw it when I was younger, I knew it was like a thing that was influential, and that it had that I knew it was an influential series, but I couldn't for the life of me watch it. I was bored out of my skull. And then Ishi and I watched it a year or two ago, and it's like, no, this is great. So, yeah.
What was it?
Yamato.
Oh, yeah, it was great.
Mm-hmm.
So you couldn't watch... Well, I guess you were used to really high-end anime at that point, weren't you?
Yeah, and something a little more modern at the time. I mean,
So-
it wasn't... I didn't find it as boring as Odin, but yeah, I was bored with it. But yeah?
I got another bizarre one here that I'm not sure how to answer. I think I lost it.
You lost it?
Somebody was heckling me about liking Nico from Galaxy Rangers, but I'm not sure I caught the reference. It said no dignity or something like that. Okay, I'm wearing down, so...
I am too, actually. I'm getting tired and needing a little food.
Same here.
Okay, shall we call it a day?
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you all very much for joining us today. This was very spur of the moment, but as always, we appreciate you joining us. Yeah, so any closing thoughts, Ishi?
Buy my books.
Yes, buy Ishi's books.
Support us on Subscribestar.
Yes.
Because we need the money.
And here is what I have done so far, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me while I painted my little horse today. And please check us out every Wednesday, unless for some reason we have to postpone it, for the Alien Cast, where Ishi talks about the songs of his people.
Yes. Hopefully we'll get to talk about vampires this time.
Yes, definitely. Who are not the songs of his people.
All right.
All right. Good night, everyone. Thank you very much.